but I wouldn't say he was mean, no.
Did you always want to be an actor?
I always actually, well, yeah, I always had the thought. Just not a reasonable career choice. Growing up in Missouri, it's not practical. So it had to take to the point of getting bored with any other option, and just to say, oh, well, I can learn that, because I figure you can learn anything, pretty much, if you want to.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're stepping into the world of Hollywood royalty, Brad Pitt. From his luxurious lifestyle and massive earnings to the latest buzz-making headlines, you won't want to miss this. If you love A-list stories, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update. Let's dive in. When you think of Brad Pitt, you probably picture him as the ultimate Hollywood heartthrob. Chiseled jawline, effortless cool, and a resume packed with iconic roles. But there's so much more to Brad than his silver screen charisma. Away from the flashing cameras and red carpets, he's got some seriously interesting hobbies, unique passions, and, let's be real, with his net worth, some pretty extravagant ways to spend his fortune. Let's start with one of his biggest obsessions, architecture and design. Brad doesn't just appreciate beautiful buildings, he's absolutely fascinated by them. He spent years studying architecture, hanging out with legendary designers like Frank Gehry, and even co-founded the Make It Right Foundation, which builds eco-friendly homes for communities in need. His passion for aesthetics extends into furniture design too. He's even collaborated with renowned designers to create high-end, modern pieces. Who knew that behind the Hollywood charm was an interior design aficionado? Speaking of artistic flair, Brad is also a huge art collector. And when I say huge, I mean multi-million-dollar kind of huge. He's dropped serious cash on works by artists like Banksy and Neo Rauch, proving that his taste isn't just high-end, it's also cutting-edge. One of his most notable purchases? A $3 million painting by German artist Neo Rauch, which he reportedly couldn't stop staring at before deciding to buy it. Must be nice to have that kind of impulse shopping budget. But here's where it gets really unexpected. Brad is into pottery. Yep, the same guy who played a fearless warrior in Troy and a ruthless fighter in Fight Club finds peace in molding clay. He reportedly spent hours in his home studio during the pandemic, perfecting his craft alongside his good friend Leonardo DiCaprio. Just imagine those two Hollywood legends covered in clay, debating the perfect vase shape. Now that's a mental picture. And let's not forget Brad's love for music. He's been a passionate music lover for years, with a deep appreciation for everything from classic rock to jazz. He's been known to jam on the guitar in his free time, and if you ever get a glimpse of his personal vinyl collection, you'd see a carefully curated selection of timeless records. He even co-owns a music production company, Plan B Entertainment, which has helped bring some incredible films to life with top-tier soundtracks. Another thing Brad takes seriously? His love of wine. Remember Chateau Miraval, the French vineyard he once shared with Angelina Jolie? Well, he's been deeply involved in producing award-winning rosé for years. He takes the winemaking process very seriously, consulting with top sommeliers and winemakers to ensure that every bottle of Miraval meets his high standards. So, if you've ever sipped on a bottle of Miraval, congratulations. You've had a taste of Brad Pitt's personal passion project. And for all his high-end hobbies, Brad also has a deep love for giving back. He's been involved in countless humanitarian efforts, from rebuilding homes in New Orleans to supporting refugees around the world. He's proof that you can have expensive taste, live the dream, and still use your success to make a difference. So whether he's collecting rare art, designing furniture, jamming out on the guitar, or crafting pottery, Brad Pitt knows how to live life to the fullest. So we've talked about Brad Pitt's passions, his love for art, design, music, and even pottery. But when it comes to his personal life, things get even more fascinating. Because if there's one thing Hollywood loves just as much as Brad Pitt, it's Brad Pitt's love life. Let's be real. Few actors have had a romantic history as talked about as Brad. His relationships have been the stuff of Hollywood legend, making headlines for decades. From whirlwind romances to high-profile marriages, from shocking breakups to unexpected rebounds, his love life has been anything but boring. Of course, we all remember Brad and Jennifer Aniston, the golden couple of the early 2000s. They were Hollywood royalty, the perfect match, until they weren't. Their split in 2005 left fans heartbroken and, let's be honest, sparked years of speculation, memes, and what-if scenarios. Then came Angelina Jolie, a love story that started on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith and turned into one of the most powerful couples in the industry. They built a family together, traveled the world for humanitarian causes, and lived a seemingly perfect life, until their shocking divorce in 2016. Since then, Brad has been linked to a handful of women, but he's kept things much more private than before. There were whispers about flings, rekindled connections, and even rumors about a possible reunion with Jennifer, which, let's face it, sent the internet into a meltdown. But through it all, Brad has stayed focused on himself, his passions, and his kids. But now things are different, because this time we're not just dealing with rumors or speculation, this is real. Brad Pitt has found love again, and this relationship isn't just another Hollywood fling. It's serious. His romance with Inés de Ramón has been making waves, and sources close to the couple confirm that things are moving fast, so fast that a wedding might be on the horizon. And that's not all. Insiders reveal that the couple isn't just planning their future together. They're also considering expanding their family. Yes, you heard that right. Brad Pitt might be gearing up for one of the biggest milestones of his life. So, what's really going on? How did this relationship unfold? And what do we know about Brad's plans for the future? Well, let's dive right into it. But here's where things get even more interesting. Because while fans have been wondering when these two will tie the knot, it turns out marriage isn't the top priority right now. According to insiders, Brad and Inés are completely in sync about their future together, but wedding plans have taken a back seat, at least for now. And why? Well, it's not cold feet, and it's not a lack of commitment. Instead, it seems the couple is more focused on growing their family first. Yes, you heard that right. Brad wants to have kids with Inés before they get married, and the idea isn't just a casual conversation anymore. It's something they've been seriously considering. Sources close to the couple say that Brad has been open about his desire to expand his family with Inés, and he doesn't feel like a wedding needs to come first. He's 100% committed to Inés. He doesn't need a piece of paper to prove that, an insider revealed. He and Angelina had all their kids before they ever got married, and he sees nothing wrong with doing the same with Inés. Of course, that doesn't mean wedding bells are completely off the table. A marriage is still in the game plan, but there's no pressure to rush into it. Instead, Brad and Inés are focusing on their life together, building a future, and embracing the idea of parenthood when the timing feels right. And let's be honest, this isn't the first time we've heard about Brad's baby plans. Back in 2024, sources had already hinted that he and Inés had talked about having a child together multiple times. One insider even noted that Brad is taking this very seriously, and has no doubt that Inés would be an incredible mother. Their relationship has already moved at a steady pace. Since they were first spotted together in late 2022, they've moved in together, gone public at major events like the F1 Grand Prix and the Venice Film Festival, and have shown no signs of slowing down. And now, with Brad's divorce from Angelina Jolie officially settled, the focus has completely shifted to what's next for him and Inés. Will we hear a baby announcement before wedding bells? At this point, it seems very possible. One thing's for sure, Brad Pitt is entering a brand new chapter of his life, and fans are eagerly watching to see how it all unfolds. So we've talked about Brad Pitt's love life, but now let's talk about something just as intriguing: his money. Because let's be real, being one of Hollywood's biggest stars for over 3 decades comes with a serious paycheck. And Brad? Oh, he's been raking it in. First off, let's talk movies, because that's where the bulk of his fortune comes from. Back in the 90s, when he was just cementing his A-list status, Brad was already pulling in millions per film. By the time he starred in Fight Club and Troy, he was earning around $20 million per role. Fast forward to today, and his paychecks have gotten even crazier. Recent reports suggest he's making $30 million or more per movie depending on the project. Not too shabby, right? But here's the thing, Brad isn't just an actor, he's a producer too. In 2001, he co-founded Plan B Entertainment, a production company that's behind some of the most critically acclaimed films of the last 2 decades. Ever heard of 12 Years a Slave, The Big Short, Moonlight, or The Departed? Yep, all produced by Brad and his team. And when you're producing Oscar-winning films, the money flows in just as much as the awards. Then there's brand deals. When you're Brad Pitt, companies are more than happy to hand you millions just to be the face of their products. Over the years, he's partnered with luxury brands like Chanel, Heineken, Tag Heuer, and DeLonghi, all adding serious zeros to his bank account. And let's not forget his side hustles. Brad has a deep passion for design, which led him to dabble in everything from furniture collaborations to high-end wine production. That French vineyard he once co-owned? It's not just for show. His Miraval Rosé is actually a bestseller. So, what's the grand total? Estimates put Brad Pitt's net worth at around $400 million, and that number only keeps growing. Acting, producing, endorsements, side projects, Brad has built an empire that keeps him at the top of Hollywood's wealthiest stars. And with his continued success, it's safe to say he's not slowing down anytime soon. Okay, we've talked about how Brad Pitt makes his money, but the real question is, where does he spend it? And if there's one thing Brad doesn't mind dropping serious cash on, it's real estate. Brad doesn't just buy houses, he collects them. Over the years, he's built an insane portfolio of properties, ranging from historic mansions to sleek modern retreats. And knowing Brad, these aren't just expensive homes, they're architectural masterpieces. Let's start with Los Angeles, because for decades that's been his home base. He once owned a massive compound in Los Feliz, which wasn't just one mansion, but a collection of houses that he gradually pieced together like a puzzle. This place was huge. Think multiple homes, a skate park, a swimming pool, and even a secret underground tunnel. Because of course Brad Pitt has a secret tunnel. But as much as he loves LA, Brad also has a thing for European getaways. One of his most famous purchases? A stunning chateau in the south of France. This isn't just any estate, it's Chateau Miraval, complete with a vineyard that produces award-winning rosé. He originally bought it with Angelina Jolie, and while their marriage didn't last, his love for this place definitely did. Then there's his beachside escape. At one point, Brad owned a breathtaking Malibu mansion perched on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Private, modern, and exactly the kind of place you'd imagine Brad Pitt unwinding with a glass of wine. He eventually sold it, but knowing him, it was probably just to make room for the next spectacular property. Oh, and speaking of spectacular, he also bought a historic estate in Carmel, California. This isn't just a house, it's a century-old architectural masterpiece carved into the cliffs with panoramic ocean views. Clearly, Brad doesn't just buy homes, he invests in places with character and history. And if all that wasn't enough, he's also had properties in New Orleans, Spain, and who knows where else. One thing's for sure, Brad Pitt knows how to live in style. Whether it's a sprawling LA compound, a romantic French chateau, or a modern coastal retreat, every home he buys reflects his love for architecture, design, and of course, the good life. So we've talked about Brad Pitt's jaw-dropping real estate portfolio, but what about the way he gets around? Because let's be real, when you're Brad Pitt, you don't just drive any car. You drive something with style, power, and a serious price tag. Let's start with his love for bikes. If there's one thing Brad is truly passionate about, it's motorcycles. He's been spotted riding everything from custom-built choppers to high-performance Ducatis. One of his favorites? A Ducati Monster 696, an aggressive, stylish ride that perfectly matches his effortless cool. He also owns a BMW Adventure, which is basically built for long, rugged rides, because apparently even Brad Pitt enjoys an off-road escape. And then there's his four-wheeled collection. Brad's garage is filled with everything from high-end sports cars to classic American muscle. One of his most famous rides? A Tesla Model S, proving that even Hollywood's coolest guy appreciates a little electric power. But don't think for a second that he's ditched old-school classics. He's also been seen driving a Chevrolet Camaro SS, a car that screams raw power and vintage muscle. Of course, luxury is part of the equation too. Brad's been known to cruise around in an Audi Q7, a stylish yet practical SUV, and when he's in the mood for something a little flashier, he's been spotted in a Bentley Continental GT, the kind of car that just oozes sophistication. And because this is Brad Pitt we're talking about, he doesn't stop at just cars and bikes. He even owns a private jet. Yep, when he needs to get somewhere in true A-list fashion, he skips the airport lines and flies in his own personal plane. Brad Pitt continues to be one of Hollywood's most talked about figures in 2025. Decades into his career, he remains a major force in the industry, constantly evolving and keeping fans intrigued, whether it's through his movies, personal life, or new creative ventures. One of the biggest highlights of the year? His highly anticipated movie F1. In this adrenaline-fueled drama, he plays a former Formula One driver making a comeback to mentor a rising star. What makes this project even more exciting is that it was filmed during actual Grand Prix races, giving it an authenticity that has both racing and movie fans hyped. With a release date set for June 2025, this could be one of the biggest films of the year. On the personal front, Brad's relationship with Inés de Ramón is stronger than ever. The couple has been spending a lot of time together, and insiders reveal that they're considering expanding their family. While marriage is still on the table, they're reportedly in no rush, focusing instead on building their life together at their own pace. Even at 61, Brad isn't slowing down. He's still producing films through Plan B Entertainment, backing projects that push creative boundaries. His love for architecture and design remains strong, with reports suggesting he's exploring new real estate ventures that mix aesthetics with sustainability. Whether it's blockbuster roles, his personal life, or his passion for design, Brad Pitt remains as relevant and captivating as ever in 2025, proving that true Hollywood icons only get better with time. And that wraps up our deep dive into Brad Pitt's incredible journey. If you enjoyed this video, we think you'll love one of these that's on your screen now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest celebrity stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.